Welcome home. We are WNST. Towson, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We are AM 1570. Make sure you're setting your dial out there if you're looking for us. Luke's got the Owings Mills things covered with the Ravens and obviously the Orioles. And it is Raven season. I am embarrassed, but one of my final segments where I'm going to hold up the Gold Rush Sevens doublers because we're coming to Cooper's on Friday for the Fells Point Oyster Festival. We're doing the Oyster Tour right now. I've been really all over the region. I've already been down to Annapolis. I've been out to Frederick already. We're early on, eating some delicious oysters in incredible ways. All of it brought to you by our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions. They keep my water clean. I also have a prop up on the set now with my Liberty Pure Solutions water, 1-800-CLEAN-WATER. Also, Jiffy Lube Multi-Care powering Luke up and powering up this crazy crab cake tour as we always do with our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I'll have the Raven scratch-offs, and when I do, Doug Lloyd will come out, and he is pinch hitting, and you're one of my favorite guests to have on because, I can have South Elkin on and talk Pittsburgh with him, and we'll get to that. Steelers had a good start to the season, whatever. And I can beat John up at the Browns, and it's always something about when the Browns or the Guardians, bad things happen to them. John's out looking to pay off home run riches and get the 5 things. So he leaves me with Doug Lloyd. Doug, you've got one of the great jobs. And I tell people you only come on a couple times a year. A lot of times you're the fellow who sets up when someone wins a big prize and they want to come on and they do something, whether it's home run riches or whether it's Ravens winning the big prize and trips and tickets for life and all that. But you're the guy when it says CMD lottery and they got you win $50,000 or $100 million. You're the one that calls them and says, hey, you won the jackpot. And they're the unwitting person that doesn't know and they don't believe you. So you have to be the most credible person at the Maryland Lottery when they call, because I would think about half the time when you're giving away big dough, they just hang up on you, right?
I have definitely gotten some hang-ups. I've gotten some pretty foul language. I do sound like an infomercial, ready to be delivered via phone. I'm not trying to extend warranties or anything like that, but that's the clutter we have to fight through.
You're the guy calls and asks for nothing and gives everything, and people can't even appreciate it for the modern lottery miracle that it is.
Well, and that's the thing I want everybody to be prepared for is I'm going to be that friendly voice on the other end of the line. I'm going to be telling you about something very wonderful, but I'm not going to be asking you for anything directly. You can walk away from that conversation. You can call us another way. And of course, you could just walk into lottery headquarters and visit us here. Once you have that news, you're prepared to do whatever you need to do to claim that prize. And I'm not going to really pressure anybody to do that. That's the difference between me and somebody that's going to try and scam you.
What is the most amount of context you've ever had to give to where the person thought you were illegitimate, thought you were the African king asking for rubles or whatever happens, this chain letter. So you call and say, I'm Doug, and like, no, you're not, boom. Now listen, I'm Doug. You played the lottery, right? Well, yeah, but I can't win, boom. I mean, I'm 3, 4, 6. I mean, like, what's the record for you to say, Mr. Johnson, please, Mrs. Johnson, please, I beg of you, I have $28,000 that you've hit in this progressive jackpot that we have to pay. Like, how long does that go on for you usually?
Well, at the conclusion of our multiplier contest, we had somebody, I called them, they had won, I believe it was $75,000. And
that's all, just 75 grand.
Called them, and it's one of these conversations where that you're having a conversation with one person, they're having a conversation with somebody else in the room. So there was a little pre-verification that was happening there, and then we hung up, and I felt pretty good about it, but I think it was just kind of one of these, yeah, I'll just get off the line, and we'll really figure out what's going on. Then her family members started calling to sort of kick the tires, make sure.
Well, it is a lot of money, right?
That's right.
I mean,
yeah.
When you call and say I won a couple of grand, maybe I'd be more inclined to. But once it gets above like 50 grand, maybe about 20 grand, you start to think like, all right, that's a car. You're making this up, right? Like, and
it was very sweet because they were protecting their mother. Their mother's older, and they wanted to make sure that they weren't having the rug pulled out from underneath her. And they said, please don't cheat my mother.
Oh, wow.
Very concerned about it being legitimate. And when they visited lottery headquarters, we had a nice group. And again, them trying to make sure it's legitimate, but also
when people win like that, I want to run across the street to Royal Farms to get them some ice cream or something, to celebrate, some cake or something like that. What is your official title, Doug?
I'm the drawings. I'm the drawings manager for Second Chance Drawings.
That's why can't say it. You can't say
And
it.
I'm also the second chair. I'm the assistance drawings manager. So for the regular drawings, I assist with that, and that's a whole process unto itself.
Am I right in saying you kind of have a fun job for being a state job and a lottery job and being buttoned up? You get to call people and you get, it's a mystery. You never know when they're going to pick up, but you know you got money to give them. That's kind of neat. That's kind of Bob Barkery, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh,
That's kind of
it's
cool.
I had game show dreams long time ago, so I get to live that dream.
Who was your favorite, Wink Martindale, or were you a Jack Barry guy? Who were you?
Bob
Alan
Barker is
Ludden,
just a
always a good one.
classic. Bob Barker is the man. But I watched a little Press Your Luck. In fact, that's actually a scratch-off ticket that is in the development queue. We're gonna have a Press Your Luck game coming out later this year.
That was my favorite game when I was a kid. Whammies. Remember the Whammies? I remember all of them. Stay away. Doug Lloyd is here. He's the second chance of the Maryland Lottery. I'm sorry, I got the title wrong. We had a big winner, right? I mean, you and I got together with the segment, and I'm going to be really honest with you. And please don't tell John this because this really happened. This is true. This is where my real life intersects. I'm doing this oyster tour. I was down in Annapolis with my dear friend Ray Bachman eating an oyster at Mike's on the river in Riva. We had a good time down trivia night. Also had an oyster in Annapolis at the Federal House, and it was a real oyster. I mean, it was a crab ceviche. It was incredible. So please go check out the videos and all that. But we're driving home listening to the Oriole game, and my wife says, "Got to buy Mega Millions," and I'm like, "All right." Royal Farms, right? We'll stop. We get off the exit, and I took the other way. She looked at me. She's like, "Look, 5 times she went in to Mike's to buy a lottery ticket, and they said you had to go back to the bar." And I said, "We'll get it on the way home." She didn't play. She woke up this morning as we taped this and said, "It got hit in Texas, and I didn't play." So my wife is very upset. It's now back down to $20 million, which, yeah, who's going to retire on 20 million? But she really wanted so what was the official number? And it happened in Texas, but you and I were ready. And if this happens in Maryland, this is a big day, right? If not my
Oh
wife,
yeah.
but if somebody else wins, even in Gaithersburg, Cumberland, Frederick, Elkton, wherever it is, like you guys, if we gave away almost $1 billion, it'd be a big deal this morning, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we'd be battle stations. I think Seth and John would probably be flying back to Maryland so that they could supervise it all. It would be bedlam, and it's back down to $20 million. Texas is having a very big day, and
Outside of Houston, my wife said Sugarland.
yeah, that's the location. And California, Florida, New York, and Washington also did really well. I think they're in that second tier. What it really means for us is, yeah, it's back down to 20 million. Powerball is now your biggest jackpot out there with 134 million and rolling. But we also have this thing called the jackpot reset promotion that starts. This is something that they started, I guess, about 6 months ago. When a jackpot is hit, the next 2 weeks, if you continue to buy Mega Millions, which is now the low jackpot, you can win a free ticket for Powerball. So, if you want to play both jackpots, we're always encouraging people to continue to play that jackpot, even though it's at a low level. And that's what that jackpot reset is all about.
Well, that's how it gets to a high level, right? I mean, like
That's right.
it is literally. Is it parimutuel? Am I saying that right? Maybe I'm the wrong word, but the more you put in, the more that comes out, whatever that means, right?
Yeah, parimutuel is a little bit different.
That's a racing term. But I think of like putting into the pot. The more you put in the pot, the bigger the draw is, right? Like
Oh,
literally.
certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
it's
got the
it's
wrong
all
word,
about
but
sales and how the sales grow the jackpot. And then, should there be a winner, if you're getting that money from all those states like California, Texas, New York, we've got a really high player base there. They're really part of the big powerhouse that makes these jackpots grow. But it also comes down to players that are continuing to play these jackpot games even when they're low.
we get all these electoral votes. They have more people. They're bigger states. They're bigger land masses, and we don't get to hit the jackpot as often. But I'm hoping to get you guys on at some point and give away a really big check on doing that. But in the meantime, we have, home run riches are happening every day.
Uh-huh.
God, I hope they start hitting more home runs. We got a couple of weeks left here. It's been a great, great season for that. And then you got Raven scratch offs as well. You're going to have winners out on the field this week with the Ravens home. I mean, it's an exciting time for the lottery, back to school. Our traffic's up, but more than that, the sports part of what you do, including we're trying to educate people all month long. I did an incredible segment last week with Mary Drexler talking about like knowing your limits and sports wagering. But sports itself and the lottery have been a part of this long before mobile wagering and the scratch off part of this. And it is a lot of fun. And I've had the winners on and I've seen the winners and been a part of all this with Home Run Riches on a daily basis. And now we have Raven scratch offs, but big prizes, including a really cool trip to New York City later this year.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, home run riches still winding down here. Right now, the Orioles have hit 212 home runs, including 7 grand slams. So for our contestant of the game winners, that's been pretty good. $210,000. Now, your chance to be selected as a contestant of the game may be waiting until next year. But there is still a lot of ways to win with the home run riches bases loaded fast play game. We actually had a very big winner from Carroll County. I think I sent you a photo. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like two Rutschman jerseys. Was that?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
winners?
They're Adley Rutschman fans, and they were playing the game. And this is one of these things. You print the ticket, and then you instantly find out whether you've won or not. And the number 35 was the lucky key to winning on this progressive. So. They put on their jersey shirts.
Yeah, here it is right here. See, the beauty of the internet and Zoom is that I can share things at any point here. But Keldon Franklin, that's almost 100 large. That's 100. That's 97. Whoa, even taxes taken out with that. We could do something nice with that. We could buy World Series tickets with that, couldn't we?
That's right. Yeah, you could. And hopefully you're buying them for a home game here.
Well, you can go to mdlottery.com and see that picture and any other picture and learn all the terms and learn everything. But the thing that I tell folks, and I was at Coco's last week, Rich, I'm doing this. It's our 26th anniversary. Don't believe the cupcake. The cupcake's, so I'm about to replace the 25. We have an oyster crab 26 motif that we're coming through with. And I was at Coco's last week and giving out tickets. And there was a table of young old timers. I'm going to be fair. And they were at a table and I gave them tickets and they were scratching. They wanted to know the rules and stuff. And Mark Viviano was my guest, the great Mark Viviano. You can go listen to all of it. We talked about media and his life in St. Louis and the Browns coming to ball. We did all of that stuff. It was a great, great segment we did at Coco's. But he walked in as my guest, and it's about 10 minutes before showtime. I said, hey, be over about 1 o'clock or so, about 10 minutes to 1. And these ladies were like, I don't know if I won. You got to tell me if I won. Hold on, young lady. And I pulled out my app, and I said, and here's the worst part. You're Mr. Bob Barker. You've won $97,000 in the progress. I am the you're not a winner. You know what I mean? So I shot all 3 of them on my little Zoomy Zoom, on the QR. Not a winner, not a winner. They all took a picture with me with their tickets, but I felt bad. You know what I said to them? This is where you play second chance. That's where you download the app. See, I'm trying to educate these folks, Doug. There's a lot of ways to win, I guess, is my point.
It's a little harder because you have to have them have that on their phone. The beauty of second chance and the rewards program is you can do it wherever you are, but you do have to be an active participant in it. Have to have your own account. And like you said, there's lots of new things coming up here. Ravens, we've got the new Ravens scratch-off tickets kicking off. There's a $2 and $5 game. We have actually had our first top prize winner last week. We had a $20,000 prize on the Ravens $2 game go away. That was our very first top prize one in that new set of games.
So the top prize, do they win the chance to get into the next chance to get into the thing that happens at the end where they get tickets for life?
They didn't, but they won $20,000. So that's
okay. They can buy their own tickets, at least for a couple years. That's
good. So we have the second chance that starts. Our very first drawing happens lightning fast after we debut these tickets. That's because we gave away a pair of 2024 season tickets. So we gave away 3 sets of club seats and 1 set of lower bowl seats. And we're planning a lot of fun with those winners right now. Now we're gearing up for, again, qualifying some finalists for the chance to win season tickets for 20 years. We're going to start giving away 2025 season ticket packages. And then we got some of our new things like Pass for Cash has been reworked. You're going to actually go down on the field and you're going to meet a Ravens legend when you do the Pass for Cash. There's that trip to New York City that you mentioned. They're going to be traveling on the team train, which leaves from Union Station, goes up to New York City.
I only took 2 charters in my life with the Ravens. In all the years I was ever with the team and travel before I was no longer with the team and traveling. I took a train back after they won the Super Bowl in 01. I was in New York doing my national show and I was on Sporting News, and I jumped on the train after a game with the team to come back home because I was sort of up there. I have never seen more food on a train. Like, this was not a regular Amtrak. This was probably in a cell of cars. I remember it probably, it's probably a little more Gucci and nice. But they were, it was like the Seinfeld episode where they're on the plane. It's like more of anything. It's like, Goose and Rob Burnett are riding with me, So like the ice cream's out, the Dove bar, they just, it was a 3-hour buffet, I think is the way. It
That's
wasn't
right.
even 3 hours because it's probably 2 hours and 20 minutes because we didn't stop in Philadelphia or Wilmington. I did pick up Joe Biden, nothing, just straight through. So the train ride, it doesn't, and listen, when's the last time you were on a train? Train ride's fun.
It was quite a bit of fun. I got to do this once before when they went to New York, and again, they're going to go take on the Giants.
You remember the food too? Seriously.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you want
I
to
mean,
pack an
seriously,
extra
when you
stomach?
travel with football players, they eat. They do. They really do. A lot.
Well, okay, let's just break down the meal arrangement. Okay, when you arrive, before you arrive, they usually have a bag lunch for you, and then when you get on, there's usually some snacks, and then they bring you basically a 3-course meal, and then there's snacks after that. So and then after the game, they eat even more. It's
How if they bring me Reese's Pieces? I like those as snacks. A little peanut butter. It's nice.
Well, last year we actually had a special treat. The Roquan was going down the aisle, passing out ice cream to our winners. So they got an extra cool treat. The train is nice because there's a little bit better chance of meeting some of the players. People are going up and down the aisles, and it's a little bit easier to enjoy your 3-course meal without ascending, descending, working around on an airplane. It's going to be a lot of fun, and
And it tastes better after you beat them too, right? Giants, right? It's the Giants, right?
It's the Giants. Yep.
Oh,
And
go kick their butts. Yeah.
so we've got a spot for 3 lucky people to go on this trip with their guests, and they're not only going to take in a game, get to see the team up close, but they're also going to have a deluxe stay in New York City around the holidays. So it's going to be really nice.
Well,
So,
tell them I'll give them a ride back from the train station when they get back if they give me some leftovers off the train on the way.
oh, there we go. Okay.
Ideas.
I wanted to make sure that we definitely talked about our new Ravens fan of the game. We've only done this once. It's going to be very like our contestant of the game promotion. So again, if you missed your chance to be an Orioles contestant of the game, fan of the game with Ravens is going to be a lot of fun too. You get $1,000 for being picked, and you get $1,000 for every Ravens touchdown. We're going to do this for every Ravens game, not just the home games. So a lot of dough going to flow out with this second chance, and I can't wait to meet some of these winners. It's a lot of fun to deliver this news, and I'm ready to make those calls.
Everybody that wins a Ravens scratch off or home run riches, they all have like Rutschman jerseys or Santander jerseys. Everybody's fired up. And they should be. It's playoff time around here. We got pennant fever. We've got a Raven fever. We've got fall fever. There's even a rumor that I'm into the pumpkin spice and the apple cider and some of that good stuff. Doug Lloyd is here. He's the guy that calls you if you win a lot of money and you don't believe it. So, and he's a credible figure there. As I always say, I love my partnership with the Maryland Lottery because y'all are on the up and up, keeping things right and fair. I'm going to have Raven scratch-offs for the Crab Cake Tour as well as the Oyster Tour as we move our way around the state. Doug, do you like oysters?
Oh man, I love them. It's just getting into that season.
I tell everybody, and I'll let you go with this, and it'll be good to see you again when I see you. It'll be even better to see Elkin after we beat the Steelers, but let them know that. Oysters are always further down the menu for me, right? It's always like, I'll get the crab cake, or I'll get the shrimp, or I'll get the steak, or I'll get the chicken, or I'll get the lobster, or I'll get the vegetables, or I'll get the pasta, or I'll get the pizza, or I'll get the hamburger, or I'll get the cheeseburger. Like, I'll get the ribs. I mean, literally, I'll get the pork chop. I did that at Mike's the other day. Like, right. I'll get the salad. I'm a salad. I mean, I'll try the soup. It's just not. I ate oysters at Bull and Oyster Roast all the time. I just never go in and say, I'm going to buy 6 oysters or 12 oysters and put cocktail in a restaurant. I'll do it when I'm at a party with a wing ding, whatever. I like oysters. I
Oh
like
yeah.
them. I just don't, they're never top 5 on the menu for me. Trying to change. Fish is kind of the same way. I don't usually order fish. I will. My wife doesn't love fish, but I've tried to be better about that. Like pick the fish over the chicken, try it, whatever. And I do love fish. But
Oysters for me, it's like a gateway. It's the gateway to the IPA that you're going to have with it. It's the hot sauce you're going to dress it
see,
up with the cocktail sauce. And then it's pretty soon you're at home shucking by yourself in your kitchen sink.
the mitt, you buy a mitt, the whole
Oh
deal,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
I've got that. I've got the special knives.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm coming to your house for some chicken tinks.
Yeah, we'll pop
Yeah,
some
yeah.
open.
Well, you know what? And here was the thing about the tour. I was going to do this, and I'm like, I'm not eating raw oysters every day in the same way with the cocktail and with the lemon and saying that this is brinier. And I can do all that, but I
Right.
wanted to get creative with it. And I'm a week into this, and knock on, I haven't had a Rockefeller yet. I haven't had a bacon yet. I had an oyster fritter on a piece of French toast with a poached egg over at the local oyster. I mean, she does an unbelievable job in Hamden. I'm just getting these creative. I went to Riley's the other night, had a bowl of oyster stew that I've never ordered the oyster stew. It's cream of crab soup without the crab, but with the oysters, and the oysters taste delicious because they're sort of molten in this creamy, buttery shallots. I mean, just I'm having a good time. I'm gaining weight this month, even though I'm trying to mix a salad in, but I'm finding different ways to eat them every day.
Yeah,
And
you got to look out. Southern Maryland has their international shucking contest in late fall. So
I
check
know about
check
all of
check that
this.
out.
They're trying to get me down to Chrisfield for the political thing in a couple of weeks, swearing that I'm going to get some fried oysters down there. So it's been a fun month. It's been a fun month for baseball, football, for Home Run Riches, for our friends at the Maryland Lottery. We're taking the Maryland Crab Cake Tour on the road. We're going to be, speaking of oyster festivals, the Fells Point Oyster Festivals all weekend long. We're going to be on there Friday celebrating at Cooper's. I will have the Ravens. I did write the Roz before the segment. You reminded me. Us being a couple minutes late allowed me to get Roz a letter in. So I'm going to have Raven scratch-offs at Cooper's. And then the whole tour like blows up next week. We're going to be at Fadley's. We're going to be at State Fair. Angela Alsobrooks is joining us there. John Sarbanes going to be down at Fadley's with us. We're at Costas later on in the month as well. We're moving around the state, so it's a lot of fun. Doug, keep calling people and surprising them and telling them it's the greatest day of their life because they won $98,372. Okay.
I will. And if you're checking out the Maryland Lottery, of course, make sure you check out mdlottery.com. Hop over to the rewards club because we've got lots of great giveaways happening here. If you've got reward points, you could win a home theater package, a 2-night stay in Annapolis, and a pair of Samsung smartphones or a carry-on luggage set. Lots of great stuff that's currently out there, and I've got even more in the plan. So we'll be having those drawings added to the list very soon, and we're gonna have fun with you all season long.
I've had 2 nights in Annapolis this week already. If you go and watch the Oyster Tour, and I'm going to see Mark Cohn Sunday night. So 2 nights in Annapolis, I could do some oysters with you down on the square. I mean, I'm telling you, I had this thing with this ceviche. It was one of the great things that I've eaten this year. So get on down to the Federal House. Check that out. He's Doug Lloyd. He's with the Maryland Lottery. John Martin will be back next week. We remind everybody all month long, slow your roll. There's football games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Chill it out. Know your limit. And please have fun. But do it responsibly and have a good time with it this week with the games. I'm Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Eating the entire Chesapeake Bay, one oyster at a time. We're Baltimore positive. Stay with us.